What's up guys, Kevin Cage back with another XRP update. I hope you enjoyed the previous video. Now this video is an absolute must-see. Props to all that can stick around for this one. At the end, we're going to discuss earning passive income with cryptocurrency by staking your assets and earning money while you sleep. I think this is very important. I know a lot of people are already extremely tech savvy and have already been staking assets for maybe even well over a year at this point, but either way, I want to cover this extensively at the end of this video. Today we have a bunch of XRP news. Just a few things that I want to cover today, of course, is ACI Worldwide, a huge RippleNet partner. We can see right here, of course, even just mentioning them is one of the DLT networks. And keep in mind, they do $14 trillion in payments and securities on a daily basis. So yes, I know that Ripple, ideally in terms of a settlement mechanism utilizing XRP, wants to displace Swift, or at least eat at some of that value. Well, Swift does $5 trillion per day. ACI Worldwide, a Ripple partner, already does 14 trillion per day, so nearly 3 times that amount. All right, and then also they do 9% of the global Swift traffic and approximately 30% in the United States. All in all, very exciting. We're gonna go through a bunch of information. Let's kick it off. So first things first, we have this huge thread. I was spamming Twitter earlier with just a bunch of information. If you guys have time to go through these, essentially task group using the #1 banking software, Temenos. I'm not gonna bore you with the details. Nonetheless, it is showing everything that we've been talking about for quite some time with Tips, Target 2, all these huge networks that have huge transactions. 2015, Ripple, of course, with Task Network Gateway, all these providers, eSmig, you name it. And of course, CGI. As we know, the roadmap of CGI, they're one of the biggest groups in the world. They in fact designed the SWIFT network for international transfers in 1973. And on their roadmap, or timeline, I should say, 2016 introduced the CGI All Payments Ripple connector. So re-architected and built CGI All Payments for the cloud. We know that RippleNet now is leveraging cloud for well over half their clients. So very interesting. I have the links available and all credit goes to this gentleman, Damor Sahami. So highly recommend it. I know I butcher his name every time, but I appreciate his hard research. He's been in this ecosystem or in this digital asset space for quite some time. All right. Swift, 5 trill a day, you get the gist. Now, this is another one by Damor, as well as Roth, a great person to follow in this community. Super conservative. If you don't like that Moon Boy talk, ideally, I get excited about this space because I see how big it is, but I want to just cover a few things here. So, as I've shared, guys, Damor actually sent me this. This is all about TCS Banks. We do know that they have direct connections, and RippleNet can plug into Quartz, one of their solutions. I know also King Solomon has been a long-term researcher finding this information and providing it for the XRP community. So, we can see right here, at a glance, Emirates NBD, no big deal, the National Bank of Dubai. Based out of Dubai, Ripple did in fact move their regional headquarters to Dubai. We know that there's approximately 2,400 other groups in this space that are really progressive and forward-thinking in blockchain. Past few videos, maybe even last week, I was reading and showing that the UAE specifically is looking to put 50% of transactions over blockchain networks. So no surprise there. Of course, banks are going to value privacy. There's going to be centralized components to this network, but overall, there's still going to be open payment landscapes. Solution, TCS Banks. Tata Consultancy Services is a behemoth in the space, one of the largest conglomerates in the world. So at a quick glance, guys, we can see that there's higher STP rates through all of this. You can kind of go through here, read some fast facts about NBD, the National Bank of Dubai. Look at some of their connections. And what I think I highlighted on Twitter to share with you guys was essentially this. We can see right here, this payments hub right now with TCS Banks powering this enterprise hub altogether for international payments is in Singapore. Of course, one of the nations, the Singapore Monetary Authority already said XRP is not a security. India, one of the BRICS nations. UAE, in Dubai, of course, and very friendly towards blockchain. In Sama, the essentially central bank of the UAE, I'm going to show you a very interesting clip. I hope all of you have seen it already, but it just gives you goosebumps when you hear it and look and think about the future of XRP. And of course, the UK and their Financial Conduct Authority has declared XRP to not be a security. London is one of the capitals of finance in the future, currently now. And remember, we talked about all these going green initiatives towards blockchain technology and essentially incentivizing these central banks to finally get on board and choose systems that are not necessarily proof of work. Of course, XRP, their consensus mechanism is POC, proof of consensus. So you understand how efficient it is. Talking about other countries right here and their real-time gross settlement systems. No surprise, TCS Banks. So I encourage you guys to look at this. All in all, it is very, very cool. I want to see what I highlighted here. Dubai, Emirates, and then emphasizing that. So domestic payments through their gateway provided by their respective central banks. And when I'm reading this to you guys, I'm considering all the news that just came out recently with RippleNet, paying attention to their lawsuit. All in all, I am beyond excited. Now here's Roth right here. And this was back in, let's see, February 2021. So this is recent, but we have the old news as well of Tata. So TCS Banks can integrate Ripple via its Quartz solution. They've been selected to build the S Africa, a distributed ISO 222 compliant RTP system, and the Quartz suite is involved. What does this mean? Well, let's be careful. And this is just staying grounded, of course, just showing you some obvious connections. And keep in mind, South Africa, guys, is one of the BRICS nations as well. The South African rand is in fact the currency. We're going to be paying attention and anticipating on-demand liquidity corridors growing in all of these BRICS nations as well. That is one of my personal beliefs, and I think it's rather logical, of course, since we're already focused and looking at India, already expanding with the Brazilian real, and already have discussed since what, June 2020 with the president of the Central Bank of Brazil with Ripple. That was leaked information that was later 100% confirmed. I think we went over that maybe 2 videos ago when we discussed crypto taxes, right? So at best, it opens the possibility, so it's no guarantee, guys, just trying to be grounded here, and I'm excited, that South Africa's RTP, real-time payment system, might easily connect to many solutions, including crypto solutions. This is future-proofing. Crypto's not going to solve every single problem, but DLT surely is going to help mitigate a lot of risk, give you redundancy, give you a lot more uptime, as I've already said, and overall just accessibility. So financial inclusion is the name of the game. TCS Banks, Accenture, one of the early investors in Ripple, Temenos core banking software, one of the biggest in the world, and of course we know the T24 stack with Ripple integration years ago. So yeah, it's, you guys can keep saying it's nothing when XRP is 40 cents, but when it's $10, $15, people are going to start flooding in as always, and I will welcome the bandwagoners with open arms. Okay, so we'll keep moving here. Next, so this is what I wanted to reference. Now, the last few 30 seconds of this clip is what I talk about all the time. So now you have additional video proof. I know I've already shown you all the articles in previous videos, but if you guys have been long-time viewers of the channel or just research XRP for the past few years, you're well aware of all of this. So thank you, Jamil Kays, gave you a follow, sir, for all the great content you're providing. The last 30 seconds is what I reference all the time with SAMA, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. That's a tongue twister. The central bank of the UAE, guys. Huge nation. Remittance fees per even Naveen Gupta saying 7 to 10%. That's unheard of, guys. The year is 2021. Time to step things up. So they say adoption is happening east to west. I know we've heard that in many places before. I don't want to sound like a Riddler, but it is very interesting. So just listen to all of this clip. If you guys have already seen this, fast forward about 1 minute and 50 seconds.
The problem is in the lack of the regulatory certainty. What's happened is you've seen a lot of institutions pop up that actually create more of a risk around the regulatory issue, where you've seen, the crypto exchanges being hacked and, the lost funds. It's because the experts that manage markets that exist today, they can't adopt it because it's just not possible. For those who follow Ripple, you'll see all the time people saying, the banks, they're not using XRP. They can't yet. Many of them have worked with it. They've tested the use of XRP. But until there's regulatory certainty, they can't leverage it today. So that's where we work with other types of institutions within the regulatory framework that don't have the same type of regulatory pressure on their side, that still, again, complies with the KYC, AML type of checks. But they're taking that stepped approach of using, what they can from blockchain aspects in our other products to enable fiat-to-fiat currency payment settlement. So we're big advocates. Every time before we can work with a bank the first time in a country, there has to be that regulatory certainty, that the bank gets the clearance from the central bank, that they can use our software. And the amazing thing is that we've seen some significant developments. One of the announcements we had earlier this year was SAMA, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority. Right. They actually brought a group of banks together to create an initiative using Ripple for cross-border payments. So in that case, we're actually seeing an increased adoption from central banks. And one of the amazing things when we talk to different companies and prospects is if you look at our adoption is absolutely east to west across the globe.
Very, very interesting. I love all of that, guys. Please feel free to replay those last few seconds. I think it's very, very important. Now, also, just a quick shout out. I highly recommend watching this video. It came out on March 6th on Crypto Eddie's channel. She got John Deaton together as well as Jeremy Hogan just discussing this lawsuit. Super informal, but I really value all of their opinions on the matter and just kind of hearing the speculative aspect of if and then and what they expect. Overall, I'm incredibly biased because I hold a lot of XRP. I've researched it for years with you guys, but I think that we get out of this relatively unscathed. And they even discussed, of course, if in the US they did in fact consider XRP a security on a going forward basis, then what, the SEC or Ripple would just buy the XRP back from everybody. There's a lot of interesting, thoughts out there. I'm not going to say what will happen. I just believe that XRP will get clarity because outside of the US, it is just an absolute behemoth. And the US can try to regulate and, control everything, but that's just going to chase the innovation outside to other countries. And I'm already bullish on the other crypto nations that are really stepping up: Singapore, UK, Japan, Switzerland, you name it, and any others that I've, left out there. So let's keep moving. Right here. Also, so I just had a friend recently. He bought a micro cap. He's up 200% plus with me on this original investment. It's literally been like just over a month of buying it. I'm not going to complain with that. I'm so grateful for this opportunity because I understand how quickly bull runs can turn around. And all these newcomers are coming in, they're buying Bitcoin at 20K, it goes to 50K. They think they're a genius. And just remember, they're going to get pretty cocky in this bull run, but the veterans are humbled in this multi-year bear market. And we remember how quickly things can turn around. So let's just be grateful for the gains. I took some profits, of course. We still hold some, but will I buy back higher? I'm not really sure. I think I'm going to go scope out some other opportunities. And yep, they are upset because they didn't, buy the bottom and sell the top perfectly. And I can't do that, unfortunately. I have my targets, I set them, and then I wait like a sniper. So, oh well. And then also Jamie XRP, great dude to follow if you guys are in the ecosystem. Here's some of those, more sure thing assets that are well established, but he is on the hunt for some very good smaller cap tokens in the DeFi space. I'd pay very close attention to him in the next couple months. All right, right here, Stuart Eldorati, General Counsel to Ripple, update on Tetragon Series C shareholder suit. Now, Tetragon was in fact an early investor of Ripple. They are UK-based, maybe even London-based, and the judge ruled that since there has been no official determination regarding XRP status, Tetragon's claim that a securities default occurred is wrong. Boom. And I know when this happened, when Tetragon was demanding all kinds of stuff towards Ripple, everybody's freaking out. The FUD just keeps getting propagated everywhere. There's different people on Twitter, bloggers, YouTubers. We're trying to, keep things in perspective. Ripple's trying to keep things in perspective. Emotions are at all-time high. People are panic selling XRP. My advice, probably just step away for a little bit and breathe, and when in doubt, zoom out. Look at what we know and look at the hundreds of videos, the hundreds of blogs. Go follow Ripple, look at all these developments, and try not to act out of emotion. I'm holding my XRP for the long term. I'm not going to be panic selling and falling into a trap. So not financial advice, guys, but just remember, when in doubt, zoom out. As our lawyers have said publicly, the SEC is dead wrong. They're not going to win this case. It's looking very, very bad, especially because they didn't even warn Coinbase before listing XRP. What was that was that 2018 already? Time has flown, or 2019, I think. Don't quote me on that. I feel stupid for that. All right, right here, MBAGI. So we have ACI Worldwide, another development. So keep in mind, as I've already referenced, 9% of global Swift traffic. So Swift 5 trill, ACI does 14 trillion a day, 30% in the US. They're a behemoth, no doubt about it. We can go through their website. They do update it regularly. And of course, on their website, they already have, Ripple named right there. And we do in fact know that they are a RippleNet partner. They're involved even with the domestic clearing side of the clearing house for the US, with many other tech providers like CGI that we've already talked about, Volante, which is RippleNet, and they do 2 trillion plus per day. A lot of coincidences and integrations. And when I bet on an asset, of course, I intend to sell it at a higher price, but I am betting on the people. I'm betting on the network. If there's a faster asset, awesome, but there's going to be trade-offs. Who has vested interest in this ecosystem? So if you guys watched the previous video with PolySign, the people on the board, David Schwartz, and also Arthur Brito, the creator of the XRP ledger, with Tim Keeney, who custodied 1/4 of the world's entire wealth. So people can call XRP a banker's coin, but I believe it's going to do extremely well when it in fact moves. To me, this is something that I'm comfortable having grandma buy in the cryptocurrency space. That is not financial advice, guys. Anything, could go wrong at any day, but it's just my personal feelings of the matter. So really quick, ACI Worldwide, just developments overall in the payment space. With Income Payments joins forces to digitize cash payments. We can see right here, they're a leading tech company, of course, announcing a partnership that will digitize digitize cash payments through the use of a barcode payments token, making it easier for consumers to pay bills. Tokenization is happening everywhere. Now, some of it may, be outlandish or not necessarily needed, but nonetheless, these groups are actually vetting and really exploring. So this is pretty cool. So they can see that they can take this barcode payment token to more than 60,000 participating retail agents. So in the retail space now, this is consumer facing. We're used to central bank digital currencies where there's both wholesale and retail. Now we have, this includes Dollar General, Family Dollar stores. If you guys are in the US, I'm sure you're familiar with these groups or these chains. And with the appropriate amount of cash, including any convenience fee, and pay their bills, such as utilities, higher education, cable, insurance, and more. Very exciting. I cannot wait for streaming of payments, this web monetization, these coil initiatives for the XRP ledger to catch up as well. Also, just a little public service announcement. I'm just curious. I'm not being paid to promote this by any means. I don't have any links. This is the Sum wallet, and I saw James Rule XRP kind of sharing this, and I've been looking into it, and I do not know too much about it, but I think I get the gist. If anyone's using this Tangum card, I'm going to butcher it. Let me know down below in the comments. I'll be reading through the comments if anybody has been using this to essentially just, secure your private keys with the Sum application, from my understanding. So pretty cool. And I will be looking into other solutions. Of course, I typically use a lot of cold storage wallets, Trust, Exodus, Atomic, because Exodus, you can already stake crypto, and of course the Ledger Nanos. And I can actually stake crypto, certain cryptos like Algorand, with the Ledger Live application using the Ledger Nano, which links are in the video description. All right. Also, India, they're always changing their stance on cryptocurrency. We have XRP Crypto Wolf sharing this. So India's finance minister says the government encourages a window of experiment for crypto. This is the same country for the last 5 years has said that they banned crypto every other year. And then they have, friendly regulation. I don't know what to believe. At this point, they're more volatile than any digital asset I've seen. So we'll take it with a grain of salt, but just kind of sharing the good news there. And then even just relate this to the previous video talking about Deutsche Bank and other banks getting into crypto custody services. They smell the money, guys. Security, regulation, scalable infrastructure, they're all coming. Also, just want to, do a little PSA. Of course, we already know this, and we'll talk about some passive income opportunities. Don't let a good trade fool you into thinking that you're a good trader, especially in a bull run. But on the other hand, don't let a bad trade fool you into thinking you're terrible. Don't get in your head. It's so hard to try to maintain a focused mind during these moves, and, just observe and keep learning. I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to you guys, just sharing things that I wish I heard, when I was really developing. All right. And also, so this is the staking stuff, and this is the website, stakingrewards.com. So you can come here, you can see some of the top 10 crypto assets that are staked by value. You can see the APY, notice, the annual percentage yield of what you're earning. So keep in mind, Polkadot right now, it says 13%. That's pretty aggressive for a crypto asset. Some people complain about like ADA or Algorand. I think those are amazing APYs. Even 4 to 6% are phenomenal because you're not getting dollars. You're not getting fiat, which is inflationary. You're getting digital assets that some have a token distribution schedule that will fluctuate, but ideally we want the value of this network to go up. So when I buy crypto assets, I'm making sure that the founders, the builders of the network, the users have an incentivized look as me. I want them to essentially be incentivized to grow the value of the network, grow the value of the token, because I'm buying it as an investor. I'm buying it or trading it as a trader. So when I see the charts combining with my deep research and the fundamental analysis, and then apply some TA and really work it from a multi-dimensional approach, that is when I make the most money. And it's so funny. Yeah, bear market, we accumulated, did some good trades here and there. Then I had some coulda, woulda, shouldas, made some silly moves and could have, sold the top here and bought the dip, blah, blah, blah. And I could complain forever. But at the end of the day, I'm happy that we're in this market now and capitalizing accordingly. Still growing my side cash bag in case there's any unnecessary crashes or pullbacks along the way. But in my mind, you cannot put the genie back in the bottle. All right. So you can look at these assets. There's some assets that are a lot riskier and they have some crazy APYs. Of course, you can stake them with the ETH pair for liquidity mining and do 100%, 200% APY. It's absurd. However, that can be a little more costly, a little riskier. So, I stake, ADA, I stake, I almost said Cardano. I stake Algo, of course, and a few others, but some aren't some crazy amounts. But the cool thing is this: if you're getting like Algo, for example, because we know they had the huge partnership with Curve, and I support their ongoing development. You guys know I've been buying this baby since 15 cents when it was listed on even Binance US back in the day. I like this, even if it is a 5 to 6% APY, because you're not getting dollars, you're getting the token. So if Algo goes to $10 and 10x's again, I'm not just getting 5%, I'm arguably getting a multiplier effect of 10 times that amount. So it's very, very powerful. So instead of a stock market return, just like the index of the Dow Jones, you know, 5%, 20% a year, and you think you're a genius, this is something that could really be big. So if you're only making, you know, $1,000 per month, or even, you know, $100 per month staking a good bag, well, in the future, that ideally, if algo did continue to climb in the next 3 years, 5 years, whatever your timeline is, and it 10x'd, the $100 you're making today is essentially equivalent to $1,000 or maybe even $5,000, you know, like per month, I should say, 100 per month or something like that. So super exciting, guys. You can go to, you know, Exodus wallet. You can go through a variety of places, look at the security, see what the best option is for you in terms of staking your asset. But it's really, really exciting. And I just want to keep that in mind. There's opportunities to make money passively. Of course, dollar cost averaging is smart. That's exactly what I do with XRP. Like, I've been doing that for several years. I've been diversifying, buying plenty of assets and kind of rebalancing. When something goes up 200%, yeah, it's not a bad idea to maybe take some profit or even get your original investment back. Take it off the table, put it in the bank. You got to win, be happy about it, reward yourself, things of that nature. So all in all, guys, this is another way to improve your income. There's some other assets that currently have, you know, 19%, 15%, 10% APYs. And ideally, that's going to come down in the future as more people go after it. Ethereum 2.0, of course, they're trying to incentivize a lot of people to stake it. There is a trade-off, or kind of a catch, though, because they're trying to migrate to proof of stake, of course. They give you a higher yield. And so those that go now are going to really, you know, reap the rewards, so to speak, if Ethereum succeeds. But when more and more people come, that APY will go lower and lower and lower. So right now, DOT, pretty aggressive. I like it. There's tons of excited builders, plenty of new altcoins being built on the network, integrating with the network. All in all, I like this space. But you have to remember, this is not just your typical bank account. Any project, any asset could disappear and fade into oblivion tomorrow. So crypto is risky enough. If I'm going to stake assets, it has to be a project that I am truly, you know, into, I fully understand, and something that I can see surviving over the next 5 years. So that's just the way I do it. I know some people are making more money than me. I'm doing liquidity mining and making, you know, $500 a day and, you know, $2,000 a day, doing some crazy stuff with some microcaps in the DeFi space. I have a few things going. And to me, it's substantial revenue, but I would much rather just, you know, set and forget, let my ADA, let my algo stake. I do need to improve my AVAX bag. I got in at that really early, luckily, thanks to a buddy. But yeah, a bunch of stuff to learn. This is all on stakingrewards.com. You can, you know, log in, create an account, look at some staking providers, play with the calculator, which is always fun to do. And so I encourage you guys to do this, crunch some numbers. I know a lot of you are already, you know, well ahead of the curve, but in my opinion, it is still very, very early. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video.